Hey you guys, it's Peter and welcome to my channel, Peter Likes Books. And today I am going to do a review and a reaction to the very first Karin Slaughter book that I have ever read. I think that I have probably through the years purchased like the paperback copies of 3 or 4 of her books. I know I have like 2 or 3 of her books downloaded on Audible. They are so long that for me on Audible, they're like 16 hours. I usually listen to them a little bit faster than that. I usually listen to my books between like 2.3 and 2.7 on Audible, depending on the narrator. So I can listen to them a little bit faster than that, but they are so long, and I like a little bit of a shorter book. So I've kind of put off reading a Karin Slaughter book for quite some time. I have a lot of people in my life that absolutely love Karin Slaughter books. My friend Tanya Jean, she's read like all of her books except for the newest one that I'm going to review today. I was talking to her about it last night, and it was kind of interesting, my take on Karin Slaughter based on this one book and then what Tanya said. And so I'm kind of interested to know what you guys think, if you guys are readers of Karin Slaughter. I will say this, that before I even get into the review and the reaction for her newest book, which is called We Are All Guilty Here. It just came out, I believe it came out like a month ago. Hold on a second. It came out August 12th of 2025, so less than a month ago. It is 448 pages, and I listened to it on Audible. I will be reading a synopsis to you guys here in just a second. I will be telling you my reactions to it. I'm going to try to do it a little bit spoiler-free. I don't want to ruin anything for anybody, so this will be a spoiler-free review. I will say that, because it just came out, and I don't want to ruin it for anybody. If people want me to do spoiler reviews, let me know in the comment section below, because I kind of need to know really what you guys want from me. Like, if you want me to spoil books in my reviews, then you can wait until you've read the book. Or if you want me to do spoiler-free reviews, because going forward, I am going to try to review and react to every book that I read over here. It seems like people are really interested in my reviews of the books. While we were on vacation, I just finished Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir, so another long book. I finished that. I have like, well, probably 10 or 15 books to review over here. So yeah, and I also just finished the 3 July books, the Alex Cross books by James Patterson for the read-along, and I am currently getting caught up on the August book. So that video is coming, but today I wanted to sit down and I wanted to talk about this Karin Slaughter book. So I'm always asking people in my vlog and other places for recommendations for books and TV shows. For those of you that do not know, I have an entire TV show reaction channel called Peter Watches TV, where I react to true crime, reality shows, Sister Wives, all the new shows that come out on Netflix and Apple and all those shows, or channels, Peacock. And I am also starting a movie review and reaction channel. So, I'm always asking people for recommendations, and people started recommending to me this new Karin Slaughter book. They said, I would love to hear what you think about it, read this book. And like I said, I never read a Karin Slaughter book. I think the book of hers, it might be her last book, I'm not sure, that I really was kind of like, I think I'm going to read this book, is it called Pretty Girls? I think it's called Pretty Girls. Something Girls. I don't know. Here, let me look it up really quick. I think that's her most recent book besides this one, or it's like 2 or 3 ago. Pretty Girls. Oh no, it's not her most recent book. It came out in 2015. She's got quite a few books since then. But that's the one that is probably the highest recommended to me, besides her like most recent one, that people have been asking me to read this and see what I thought. So I went into it not knowing a lot about Karin Slaughter, except for that she's very popular and people really, really like her mystery thrillers. I love a good mystery thriller, as you know. So I went into it not really knowing much about it. People had told me, I hadn't even read the synopsis for it before I started reading it. I knew it was about like a small town, like murder, mystery, kidnapping kind of thing, but that's all I knew about it. I may have skimmed the synopsis, but I don't think that I read the synopsis. So let me read it for you now. I will tell you going into this, I gave it 5 stars, but I think there's some explanation that needs to go with that. So, the first thrilling mystery in the new North Fall series from Karin Slaughter, New York Times bestselling author of Pretty Girls and the Will Trent series, which I know is a TV show, but I didn't even know that she had written the books behind it. Welcome to North Falls, a small town where everyone knows everyone, or so they think, until the night of the fireworks, when 2 teenage girls vanish and the town ignites. For Officer Emmy Clifton, it's personal. She turned away when her best friend's daughter needed help, and now she must bring her home. But as Emmy combs through the puzzle, the girls left behind, she realizes she never really knew them. Nobody did. Every teenage girl has secrets, but who would kill for them? And what else is the town hiding? So that's really kind of only half of the book. And like I said, I don't want to spoil this for anybody, so I'm going to, like, I've been talking to my friend Nikki. She and I started it at the same time. She's a few chapters before the end of it. So I was trying to talk to her about it in a way, and like talking to my friend Tanya, who hasn't read it yet, in a way that it wouldn't ruin it. So I think that I can do that. But that's really only half of the story, because the first half of the book, I think the book is 20 chapters. It's literally cut in half. The first half of the book is about these two girls that go missing. It doesn't, and I listened to it on Audible. I don't remember it saying what date it happened or what year. But their names are Madison and Cheyenne. And they become like best friends. Cheyenne recently moved to town a couple years before, and they're in high school, and I think they're like 15, 16, and they're kind of like wild, and they've got a plan to like run away, and they're saving money, but you don't really know like the backstory to that at the time. And then something happens, and then they go missing. The first 10 chapters are about this detective, and her name is Emmy, and her father is like the sheriff of the town, and they are trying to solve this case kind of together. And that's really all you know. Like that's, and I honest to God thought that when I was reading this book, I thought, well, that's all this book is going to be about. It's just going to be about this detective, Emmy, who I really liked her. The one thing, so to take it to a 5-star for me, between a 4 and a 5-star, a 4-star mystery thriller is where it's like, it was good, it kept me engaged, but it was just like, would I recommend it to a lot of people? I might say if you're looking for a good mystery thriller, yeah, you should try it, but would I like rave on and on about it? No. A 5-star to me is where usually it has to have some kind of like, it's impacted me in some kind of way past just being a good book. Like, I've learned a lesson from it, or the characters go through like major cathartic changes or critical changes where I really remember the character development. Character development for me is vital to the rating of a book and how well the book is done. If you can write good characters, to be honest with you, I don't really care what the story is, as long as I can get interested and invested in the characters. So for me, if the book had just been about these missing girls, which I feel like that kind of, it's almost kind of like a mystery thriller trope at this point, where girls go missing and then it's you know, and then even later they come back to try to resolve the crime. Like, I feel like I've read like 5 books about that in the last 2 years. I feel like it's kind of a theme in a lot of mystery thriller books. Small town, somebody goes missing, they come back, they try to solve the crime years later. That, like, it's 3 friends and 2 of them go missing, or one of them goes missing and 2 of their friends. It's like that. It's almost kind of a mystery thriller trope at this point. So that's really what I thought it was. And I'll be honest with you. I mean, I listened to like an hour the first night that I listened to it, and the rest of it, so I started listening to it the night before we came back from our trip. The rest of it I listened to on the entire way back on the trip, and kind of couldn't stop listening to it. But I also wouldn't say that it's like the best mystery thriller. Like, I mean, if you ask me like, what are the top 5 thrillers you read this year, this wouldn't be my top 5, even though I gave it 5 stars, just to make that clear. I didn't think that there was anything that extraordinary about the writing of Karin Slaughter. I was kind of surprised reading it that so many people talk about her and so many people like go on and on about her. I didn't think her writing was that interesting. I didn't think the descriptions, I mean, we're talking about a small town. I thought that she could have made the descriptions of the small town very interesting, of talking about the places in the small town, what the small town looked like. I felt like that was all completely missing from the book. And so what happens is the first half of the book, basically the first 10 chapters, are about them solving the case of Madison and Cheyenne, okay, which it goes unsolved. The second half of the case, or the second half of the book, is years later, and something has occurred to the sheriff and his daughter Emmy that is causing like national attention. And so Emmy's sister comes back to town, whose name is Jude, and she's an FBI agent. But she didn't leave as an FBI agent. She left under very bad terms. She left under like being kind of the wild child. She was very much like the girls that went missing when she left. And so nobody really knows what happened to her. And she comes back and she's changed her name. None of this is ruining it for you, trust. And she comes back like as like this FBI agent. she comes back as like this FBI agent, I believe, CIA agent. Anyway, this agent that's like written a book. Literally, they keep on saying it. They say it like 4 times in the book. Like she literally wrote the book, which she did. Wrote a book about like profiling, kidnapping cases, things like that. So she comes back basically to kind of help out the case she's like retired from one case. And so she comes home to kind of help her like sister with this case. But it's really more about the second half of the book is really about the family dynamics of the family and what's happened to the family. And since the sister left, there's a huge age gap between the 2 sisters, and what's happened to the family, what's happened to the town since this Jude left. That to me was the interesting part of the book. That and the backdrop to that is really. And I don't know if all the Karin Slaughter books are like this. I will tell you that my friend Tanya and I watched the movie, I think it was with Toni Collette, Pieces of Her, or the series online, and I remember really liking it. I don't really remember much more than that. But when I got to the second half of the book, and the second half of the book is about yet again another missing girl. That's kind of what brings her back to town a little bit. But it's about this missing girl, and it's very similar to the original case. That they think that they have somebody, that they think they figured out that case. But then it like reopens things. But then it brings in like the family drama of all of it and what happened to the family and whatever. That to me was really the interesting part of it, the family dynamics, with the backdrop of the solving the murder and this new missing girl. But it was really the family dynamics for me that drew me in. The characterization of the family, the sisters, what you find out about the family at the end of the book. The tripod fell, I'm sorry. You don't really find out what happened to the original like murder mystery until the very end of the book. You think you do, but you don't really find out the whole story till the very end of the book. But in all honesty, I wasn't really that blown away when I found out the end of it. It wasn't like, oh my God, like, in fact, like, my friend that I was, like, talking to about it, she kept on having to go back because she got kind of confused about some of the characters. And I told her, I said, you're going to be, when you find out, like, who was involved at the end, you're going to be like, I don't even remember this person being, like, these people being major players in the book. Like, you're going to want to go back and find out who they were, because that's kind of how I felt. I didn't feel like the ending of the mystery. This is what I would be interested in knowing about people that are readers of Karin Slaughter. And maybe this is just her newest one, but this is my only knowledge of her. I didn't think the murder mystery part or the investigation was that fantastically done. Nor did I really care, to be honest with you. But I read fantastic murder mystery thrillers that like just, I mean, it is woven and you don't even have any clue until like the very end. And then you're like, oh my God, it was right in front of you all this time. It was not that kind of mystery at all. Like, I don't know. It just, I didn't think it was woven that tight. I mean, I thought she was like a master of mysteries and thrillers. And I know this is not a popular opinion, but without the family interactions, without the deep characterization of the characters, I think the book would be very subpar. So I guess what I'm interested in knowing is Karin Slaughter famous? Like, the people that like Karin Slaughter, do they like her books because of her murder mysteries and her thrillers and weaving together a great thriller? Because for me, this fell a little short on that level. As a reader of I read a lot of cozy mysteries. I have read cozy mysteries where the murder mystery is so dumbed down, and they are better murder mysteries than the one that was in this book. I mean, as far as like well-developed and not knowing what's going on, and the book was very confusing in parts too. There's a lot that was kind of confusing about it, but the characterization of the family and Emmy, the sheriff, and her interactions with her best friend, whose stepdaughter is one of the girls that goes, Madison is one of the girls that goes missing at the beginning, and how it all plays together in this small town, that was what made the book interesting to me. That's what took it to a 5-star for me, because it was the building of the characters, and in fact, it was the building of these, it was the two sisters' relationship and the revelations that you find out about the family and family secrets and what's going on, that really took it to a 5-star for me. If it wasn't because of that, I would have given this book a 4-star, 100%. The mystery was not that great. I didn't think it was that big of a thriller that I was like, I cannot wait to find out what happens next. It was not that kind of murder mystery. So I guess the question I'm asking to people out there that are Karin Slaughter fans is it the character development that makes her such a fantastic author, or is it the murder mysteries? Because if it's a murder mysteries, I probably won't continue to go on and read her stuff, in all honesty. If it's the character development and she does that in all of her books, then I would be interested in reading more of her books. Because I thought the character development was fantastic. Would I read another book in the series? I would, and I think it's a good book for a first book in a series, and it says this is the first book in a new series. I do think it's a good book in a first series because I think in further books, we're going to see the two sisters play out in further books down the road, because you find out about family secrets and their relationship and stuff. You find out more about that at the end of the book. So I think that will play out more as I think they'll solve crimes together is what I think will happen in further books. So I would, because I like their relationship and I like them finding out about each other. And that was the interesting part to me. In all honesty, I was kind of bored with the first half of the book until I got to the second half of the book when they introduced Jude. And then Jude and Annie play off of each other was really when I got interested in the book. Up till that point, and like I said, it's a long book. I mean, you're 10 chapters, and these are 10 long chapters. You're 10 chapters in before they even introduce the sister Jude. You're 10 chapters in. I mean, you're halfway through the book. The book is 20 chapters. You don't even find out about that part until the second half of the book. For me, I mean, I'm not a big lover of the word slow burn when it comes to books, because for me, like, unless it's like Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid was a slow burn for me, because I feel like it kind of like got better and better and better. This did not do that for me. I was very interested in this book at the beginning. Then it was like 8 chapters of just kind of like, okay, I dedicated myself to reading this book. And then halfway through the book, it got much better. And then it got kind of boring again. And then I would say like the last 4 chapters were phenomenal. But did I think that it was great all the way through? No, I didn't. But I thought that the characters were so well developed. I mean, she knows how to write characters. She knows how to write characters that people can become invested in. And I think that to me, it shows a really, truly talented author. And I think there's a lot of people out there that can probably write murder mysteries, but can't write good characters. And so for me, that's why I took it to 5 stars. But anyway, I'd be interested to know what you guys think. Put it in the comment section below. I love you guys, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.